Hey everyone, this is Ryan B from Practical Forex Trading, and welcome to the video of how to identify support and resistance zones. The techniques we're going to talk about today can be used in the Forex market. They can also be used in stock market as well as cryptocurrency. And this is really about how do you identify those areas of support and resistance on any chart, which will make for good buying and selling opportunities. So the simplest way to think about it I can recommend is thinking about things in a horizontal line or grid fashion. And so when you see all these spikes up and downs, what you need to do is essentially level it out and make it less dramatic. Okay, so this is a daily chart. One other thing you could do with a bigger time frame, but we're going to stick with the daily. I'm going to look for spots where price is a line, like an imaginary line, where the candlesticks stop, where there's like a ceiling, but then also use that same place later as a floor. So the most obvious one my eye is coming to is right here. I'm gonna place it here on this chart. It's about the 118, 119 mark on this euro dollar chart. It doesn't matter what chart you're using, the principles are the same. And the reason I picked this area is because we can see over several candlesticks, price pushed up and then was rejected from. It almost came through. We can see here, if we zoom in a little bit, price came through and then was pushed back away, forming a resistance zone. We can see for several weeks that followed several candles, they never quite made it through. And it can be kind of messy and sloppy. It's not exact. It's not a fine line. It's almost like a zone, right? If we want to widen this out, let's move this up here to the top of the zone. We can see that matches up good later on with this. Now we'll call it support. So what used to be resistance is now support. So let's look for other areas in this chart where the same thing happened. So I can see another one here about this 116 mark. See how price came here and stopped twice. So I'm going to mark another line. And now I'm starting to build a grid. And we can see just if we were to trade grids like this is called a range trade. You sell the top and you buy at the bottom. There's a good chance you can make some significant profits. And then once price pushes through and stays above, see here how price fell back through, it couldn't make it, but now it came above. Eventually, no matter how high it goes, it will come back down and test it. But now, because it was resistance in the past, it's now become support. So that means the next time price comes down to this level, it's most likely going to be stop there, pause, and offer a good buying opportunity. So if I take another one, we can see it looks like there's another zone forming here, and these should be pretty equidistant or the equal distance when you break up your zones. So now we've got two support and resistance zones. They're about the same width, how tall they are. So let's go further down on charts, look for another one. And I'm going to say this one's right about here. You can see some really big, highly volatile candles, and that can happen sometimes. That can kind of skew our vision. So maybe let me bring this down. This actually looks like a better place to put my line because we can see it was the top here and then became the bottom here. And this, we kind of have to filter this out, this ultra volatile spike. We can say, yeah, price tried to come into this zone, but we can see that it was quickly rejected and fell back out. And if we look closely at the daily candles that followed afterward, sometime during the last couple of days, price tried to push up again, but then was quickly sold off. So when you're thinking about how to identify support and resistance zones, this is what you kind of want to do. You want to break it into a grid and look for the places where over time prices regularly pivot or turn around. Ceiling becomes the floor, floor becomes the ceiling. So now, if you notice, I'm looking at the last couple of years or so. This is videos being recorded early 2021. Now that I've drawn these grids, I'm going to scroll out and see the bigger time frame. Actually, I'm going to switch to a weekly chart. There we go. Now we can see, interestingly enough, if we go all the way back a couple decades, guess what? These support and resistance zones, see how price now is trying to pierce through the top. Well, way back when in 2010, 2012, price tried to push into it at the bottom as support. But as you'll notice, Now we're going back to the early 2000s and these same support resistance zones hold true. So that's the math behind it. And that gives you some kind of confidence about how effective these zones are. So now that I'm here, I'm looking way back in time, I can say, okay, well, what if price were to break through here? Maybe it will. Then what would be next? And so how we can do that is by looking in the past and marking those zones. Say, well, here's one. Here's a place where price often turned around, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 20 touches to this line. And we can do another one in the past. Yeah, this has a lot of price action. Here's one more. So now if we were to scroll and we could say, all right, well, sometime in the next couple of years, if price were to advance above this resistance line, it would probably push way up through, come back down, and then test it, right? See if we can hold above. If it could, then we'll see the next move up to the top of the range. So that's a little quick video on how to identify support and resistance zones. Once again, this works for Forex, stocks, cryptocurrency, doesn't matter. It's all about behavior, buying and selling. You can think of supply and demand, but it's these places in price or price action where things typically pivot, turn around, find support and resistance. So anyways, good luck. If you want to check out more of our how-to videos in our weekly analysis, make sure you click that red subscribe button at the bottom hand of your screen. And if you want to learn how to trade, we do have a course available on the Udemy platform, and you can find the link for that in the description of this video. All right, good luck trading out there.